We live in an era where dynasties are the standard, where we expect consistent, year-over-year dominance from the Legis elite. Sir, we live with the patriot empire of the 2000s, the dominant Atticus Nines, and the reckoned ascension of the Kansas and the reckoned as a city Goths, a team that has not only even multiple titles, but has fundamentally redefined mentally. Redefine it, fought for quarterback position. Red. For quarterback position. Yet, hidden within this shimmering golden age of success in anomaly, a champion that defies all logic and statistical expectation. We are talking about the 2020 Kansas City Chiefs, a squad that arguably stands as the single worst collective unit to ever claim the mantle, Super Bowl champion, having been traded across the finish line by the singular, heavy singular, unstoppable force, of Patrick Mahomes. Segio, say, the cuticray, the boo to the new entity. The expectation coming into the 2023 campaign was that the Chiefs would simply roll. They were the defending champs led by the Lightning League and Super Bowl MVP, a man entering his prime whose name was the same. Great as the pantheon of Brady, but the pantheon of quarterback legends. Of the boot, the cracks in the foundation were evident from the start. They had already sacrificed much of their recurving corpse in recent years, drowning away one of the most explosive players in the game. And send forward. What remained was a collection of journeymen, unproven rookies, and veterans well past the prime, creating an offensive landscape. The Woods have crippled 90% of NFL offense. Travis Kelce, the ever-reliable Hebler, Hall of Famer, was visibly starting to slow, and the rest of the recovering run became a weekly ability. And often tragic teeter of a roars that sabotate the roars that sated the most important position in the modern game. The regular season quickly became a testament to the level of dysfunction. This when it operate under why the defense, under the brilliant guidance of Steve Spagnuolo, soared to elite levels. The O-levels, the offense plummeted. A thumbs plummeted. Tentity. DN in net to hot their average nearly 30,000 per game. The previous year's off its production creator, falling well outside the top 10 and at times barely streaming by in single digits. Edges. The drop rate became the story of the NFL season, a leak-leading, soul-crushing epidemic of missed that dates that turned routine first downs into points and potential touchdowns into agonizing turnovers. Their mental errors compounded the physical ones. It was a vicious cycle where a player voiced through sent writer and the eye only to falter again, shattering the confidence of the entire offensive operation. For a quarterback, who had always known reliability, this was an entirely new and frustrating reality. A psychological for vast every Sunday. The lowlights of the season were legendary. Not for their brilliance, but for the team. For the team. The season opener, a lost and inferior team, feature recruit records that directly door game, jinging interceptions. This set the tone. For a Z to tone. For a Z definite. Bonds. The offensive line contributed its own flavor of catastrophe, specifically in the penalty department, with one particular tackle becoming an unwitting star of every worst penalties, seemingly driving even up. Seemingly driving up. This cascade of penalties and drop-it paces erodate. Precious, felt position and Roxanelli, well fit the brilliant playmaking that Mahomes was forced to perform simply to keep the team competitive. Fine. The nadir of this decline was a stretch where the Kifs lost 5 out of 8 games, a record that would typically extinguish the playoff hopes of a contender. Nos devor fondender. During this period, the conversation around the Kifs was no longer about a dynasty, but about a crumbling empire, a team that was not only beatable, but looks actively broken, culminating in a deeply humiliating loss on Christmas Day, a defeat at Summit Seawall as a failed experiment. It's the same experiment. But here is where the story shifts from folklore to legend, and the argument for the Chiefs buying the worst Super Bowl team becomes a paradoxical badge of honor. Hey, so damn bar. So, despite the regular season's LS6 start, the worst of the Mahomes era, the team entered the playoffs not as favourites, but as a team playing with house money, relying entirely on the twin pillars of a historically great defence and the unbreakable will of their quarterback. The first test was against the Dolphins in an unforgiving, frigid vault cart game. Temperature so low it seemed to the possibility of professional football. The Chiefs' defense responded, completely suffocating the high-flying Dolphins, offense, and neutralizing the former star receiver. It was a defensive masterclass, proving that while the offense was flaved, the defense was ready to carry the entire organization on its back. The subsequent games only intensified the argument suffice it seem. That this team despite its offensive limitations. The divisional round match against the Buffalo Bills, a team disparately seeking playoff revenge. Foss, Grinder, was a grander. The Bills outplayed the Chiefs in terms of possession time, and Jadaj, Jet Mahomes, and Sona, Kukanjara, Justinos, executing clutch third down conversions. That's the depressor in the oppressor and the up so and the opposing talent. They squeak it by, not with the dominance of previous champions, but with a gritty, determined effort that spoke less to team stand more to individual genius, tend more to individual genius. The AFC Championship in Baltimore against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, you possessed one of the best defenses in modern NFL history, was supposed to be the end. The Ravens fixed a mean end. Hey! Sydney and at home. Yet, the Chiefs' defense put on a legendary performance, frustrating the MVP and causing critical turnovers that completely stand the momentum. It was a victory for getting defensive good in Mahomes' surgical efficiency, converting the necessary plays and managing the game flawlessly for the defense that did the heavy lifting. The Super Bowl matchup against the San Francisco 49ers presented the ultimate paradox. The 49ers were the consensus best team in the league, loaded with All-Pros and Pro Bowlers on both sides of the ball. A perfectly balanced, seemingly unstoppable seemingly unstoppable For 3 quarters, the 2021, exactly like the flavor they had been all yet ineffective, plagued by fumbles and unable to establish a rhythm. Yet, as the game entered the 4th quarter and eventually overtime, the generational genius of Mayo, a sign the genius of May overtime, and then a Jonah Degaye, PSN. Together, he meticulously marked a collection of cast-offs and young players down the fight, converting desperate field downs and trading pieces into impossibly tight. See. His game-tying drive at the end of regulation was a work of art. Execute with Nadine execute with 0. In overtime, after the defense helped the Untold to a finals to a feist go, Ave was not just a drive for a championship. It was a final, undeniable statement about it to be historical power one player. Duo. He took the field canoeing exactly what he had to do, picking apart one of the Legue's most with short, accurate passes, relying on the sheer belief in his ability and the execution of those around him, however reliable they had to been far on. Sim havagada atadoga bokwad gunam havadaleumna. So, the game-winning touchdown, passed to McCall Hardman, was the symbolic culmination of the season a player, Fu, had been traded away and then brought back to a recaving corpse of last resort, catching the single most important pass of the cheer the day. Folks, that's Samvoigen. The Caves won, becoming the first back-to-back champions in 2 decades. Not because they were a great team in traditional sense, but because they possess the single greatest equalizer in the history of the sport. So, to sender wörter, the sport. They won with the love-straight offense ever to win a Super Bowl, overcoming a league-leading number of dropped passes and penalties, and navigating a playoff schedule that would have ended an Epsilon 8 Flav champion. This wasn't a dynasty-winning Traug seamless execution. It was a dynasty-winning true ball, dumberelet individual transcendence, steamenting the 20 chefs as the Kali. And it was the Kali and historically, the absolute worst team to ever pull of the impossible. Of the impossible. A fact that's impossible.